Show starts right now. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Chris. Happy Monday. Thanks, my friend. And thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. Governor Mitch Daniels said it was a close call. He's a Republican governor. The Indiana legislature was also controlled by Republicans. In the 2012 season, there was nothing that the legislature passed in Indiana that Governor Mitch Daniels even thought about vetoing, except this one thing. This one bill, he said, for him, it was a close call. He said he signed it. He only signed it because, in his words, in the real world, there will almost never be a situation in which these extremely narrow conditions are met. And that was the reason that he was willing to sign it. But even as he signed it, and he explained to the local press why he was signing it, he still admitted that he was worried about it. He said, what is troubling to law enforcement officers and to me is the chance that citizens will misunderstand what the law says. And that worry, turns out, was understandable, since there was no real way to explain what that Indiana law did, except this. The Indiana law that lets citizens shoot cops. Or another take on it, NRA-backed law spells out when Indiana residents may open fire on police. At least when Fox News covered it, they phrased it as a question: should citizens be able to shoot police? The answer in Indiana, thanks to Mitch Daniels signing that legislation, was yes. In very specific circumstances, that law that Mitch Daniels signed in 2012, it only allows you to use force against the police, including deadly force against the police, if you believe that they are acting unlawfully. So only under those circumstances. But then you can use force against the police. And if you want to kill a police officer, if you want a legal defense where you can walk free after shooting and killing a police officer, your defense in Indiana has to be that you think the police officer was acting unlawfully and that you believed you were preventing serious bodily injury. But if that's what's going on in your head, go for it in Indiana, apparently. The NRA backed that bill. The Republicans in the Indiana legislature passed that bill, and Mitch Daniels, with an uncharacteristically shaky hand and voiced doubts, he did sign it into law. It is a remarkable law, even for this current iteration of the NRA and even for Indiana. But that law, Indiana's It's Okay to Shoot Cops law, it didn't get all that much national attention, at least in mainstream circles. In non-mainstream circles, though, that Indiana law got lots and lots and lots of attention. And it inspired a lot of fantasist, armed resistance against armed tyranny kind of stuff, particularly on YouTube. These two cobbled together homemade videos on YouTube, both celebrating that Indiana shooting cops law is essentially an invitation to armed revolution against the U.S. government. These were both posted on YouTube not long after that law was signed. You can still find them on YouTube today. And on that website, they got liked, they got a thumbs up, they got approved online by this 22-year-old woman, originally from Indiana, late of Nevada. And the reason her online history of liking or disliking things is now making the national news is because she and her husband left a long online trail that more or less may explain why those two went on a shooting rampage yesterday in Las Vegas, including ambushing two police officers at a pizza joint, killing both of them, and then killing another local man at a nearby Walmart. The female suspect then reportedly shot and killed her husband inside the Walmart before she ended up killing herself. And as amazing it is to say this, 5 people, including 2 assailants, killed in an orgy of gunfire in the United States. It's sort of something more than an everyday occurrence, but it's usually less than a national news story. And the reason that this one in Las Vegas has risen to the level of national and intense interest is in part because of that online trail that the killers left behind, as well as the unusual and seemingly political trappings of the crime scenes in Vegas and how they left them.